I think that for me, a lot of games are accessible, at least from a gameplay perspective. I'll pick different things depending on my mood, and if I'm using video games as kind of coping skills or coping mechanisms, that will also influence the way that I pick video games.
So I use a variety of adaptive tech. I use a mouse in one hand and half of a controller in the other hand, basically. And I also have a button next to my head. That button is connected to the Xbox adaptive controller. I use a program on my computer called REWASD, which lets you combine different devices to work as one, like the Xbox Copilot mode almost. The things I cannot press, I use voice commands for, which you can see when I play Fortnite. I use them a lot. It can look a bit complicated, but I've gotten used to it and it works well for me.
I don't know. I kind of like. I just want to switch up my setups. You know, not just have this like this right here is my default setup, which I like. But then I want to, play things, use a mouse. Gain a lot more accuracy and stuff like that.
If you have any kind of like mental illness or psychiatric disability, you've probably experienced the utter mental gauntlet that is going through a medication change, and it's so tough. It's the kind of thing that I wouldn't wish on anybody, but it is necessary, for me to have good mental health. And Stardew Valley as a game gotten through some really, really rough ones.
I think I struggled with that more before I figured out my adaptions. Before I use my voice commands and the mouse setup right now, I used an adaptive controller, which worked well, but sometimes games didn't have like the full accessibility. Like one game I could think of that I struggled with a bit was the Spider-Man game, Marvel Spider-Man, the first one. Because when that game came out, it had I don't think it had any accessibility options. None of the options that I would benefit from, basically. Because if I remember right, it didn't have any toggles. It didn't have button remapping. That's what I remember because I relied on that a lot.
Honestly, all you gotta do, game devs, is look at go type in accessibility and type in Microsoft and accessibility, and there is a whole bunch of resources for free that you can take, that you can use to resources that you can use to make your game more accessible. And if you consider like inclusive design in your game, you're just going to bring more people to play.
So my general approach trying to find a video game that meets my needs is to try to be flexible with what it is that I want to play.
Making sure, like, at least the basics, like toggles, ability to skip quick time events, maybe make it so like some things aren't as complicated. Some unnecessary things aren't complicated. I feel like some of those basic things would go a long way.